Hello, I'm John, the Warhammer Modeler. Welcome to the third video of me talking about my Mukaali baggage train. In this video, we're going to take a look at the hover barge and how I went about making it. Really enjoyable model, this one. It did take me some time to kind of work out the mechanism to have it hover. Turned out to be quite a simple method that I used in the end. Again, the same as the other models in this series. I made them a while ago and then kept on adding bits to them and so on. And it's only recently that I've actually got them all primed, ready for paint. So the first thing we'll have a look at is the Mukaali towing the hover barge. So here we have the rider on this Mukaali. There isn't a rider on the other one. I took the legs off and just sculpted a kind of a blanket over the top of where the rider would be. No real massive conversions on these Mukaali, apart from a hole drilled in their back, and then the metal rod was put in there and bent. So the bits that I sculpted around the end are kind of like a rubber joint which connects the cable to the straps and the saddle and so on the Mukaali. The driver itself, most of the bits are from the standard Cadian kits, a few bits from, like with the other models, the Forge World Cadian kit. I put this stick together with a few different parts from different kits, so he can guide the Mukaali but also fend people off while still being on the mount itself. So let's have a look at the barge. So from the beginning I wanted this to be a hover barge, so I thought about what kits I could use to put this together. As you can see, if I move it, it does bounce up and down. The way that I've got it hovering, so there's nothing underneath, is the cables that go into it are actually metal rods that go all the way down. So I can actually pull this out. So there we have the metal rods. Let's move this to one side. And here we have the hover barge. Now if we look at the front and back, we'll see that it's got identical pieces on the front and back. These are from the Space Marine Land Speeder. If I turn it over, you'll see we've got the base of the Land Speeder at both ends. So the grav plating there, keeping it hovering. A few other bits and pieces on the underside are from the Land Speeder, as well as some terrain kits and so on. So I just wanted it to look like there was a lot of tech and things underneath, which helps with the operation of the barge. I liked the idea of the barge just being powered to hover, and then it had to be towed by the Mukaali. It's that kind of high-tech and low-tech combined. The top panel, the top shape, I cut on a laser cutter with a few different bits of acrylic and then sandwiched in this mesh. And then the edges are actually from the sides of the ladders from a variety of kits that I had lying around, just so I could get all of those kind of industrial nuts and bolts and things. The railings, they are from Necromunda, from various kits, as is the ladder. But all in all, I really like the way that this barge turned out. I've left the kit on it off, so I can put kit on it, I could put people on it and so on. In my head, it's a bit reminiscent to the skiffs in Return of the Jedi, except not being powered. I thought that if I ever made another one of these, I might put, say, a sail on it or a separate engine to make it travel along. But in this case, having it on the Mukaali to tow it, I think works really well. So the whole point of the metal rods to hold it in place, I want them to look a bit like cables when I paint it. So it looks like it's being towed more than it being metal rods and so on. In the state that it's in, if there's no weight on it, it kind of rides up a bit, but when you put weight on it, it does lower down and sit a lot more kind of naturally on the base. there's always that little movement in it, which I quite like. Recently I have added a few other little details, so if I just bring this back, on the top here the connection for the cables, as well as this little light that hangs down, just like a service light or something like that on the kit itself. So there it is, it's my hover barge being towed by two of the Mukaali in the baggage train. I hope you're enjoying these videos that I'm making talking about this subject. In the next video, I'm actually going to be converting another Mukaali for the baggage train. So I'll run through the whole process of what I'm doing and what I think about while I'm doing that. So for now, I'm John, the Warhammer Modeler. Stay safe.